Style 1. The long layers that quietly pull you down. Let's start with the classic culprit, long layers. You ever find yourself endlessly flipping that same lock of hair over and over, wishing it would somehow fall into place perfectly? Been there. Hard. Back when I had long layers, I treated my round brush like it was a magic wand. Spoiler, it was just a wrist workout with zero magic. Long layers used to be the gold standard. They were supposed to soften your features, flatter your face, and add volume. And maybe they did, back when we had a bit more hair density and a little less hair attitude. But post-60, they tend to do the opposite. Instead of lifting your look, long layers pull everything downward. And unless you've got naturally thick, lioness-level hair, the ends can start looking a little exhausted, thin, wispy, like they gave up halfway through blow-drying. I clung to my long layers way longer than I should have, half out of habit, half out of stubborn hope, until I caught a side profile picture and thought, why does my hair look like it's making a break for it? And here's the sneaky part. Long layers highlight exactly what we're usually trying to soften. Jawlines that are shifting a little, cheeks that aren't as perky, hair that's thinned out over the years. Also, long hair isn't always the low-maintenance dream they sell you. Sometimes it's just more hair to argue with first thing in the morning. The good news, you don't have to shave your head and start over. Going a bit shorter, think chin or cheekbone length, instantly rebuilds structure. It pulls the eye up, not down. Add a little face framing action, and suddenly you look awake, intentional. Less hiding behind hair, more I showed up, and I brought coffee. Next up, the cut we all side-eyed back in the early 2000s, but honestly deserves a serious comeback. Style 2. The bob you thought you'd never get. Alright, let's talk about the bob. You know the one, the haircut you used to associate with soccer games, PTA meetings, and that neighbor who labeled every item in her fridge. I swore up and down I'd never get a bob. I thought it screamed practical, and not in the breezy Parisian way. More like I drive a beige minivan and compare grocery coupons for fun. But here's the twist. The right bob isn't boring. It's brilliant. A classic bob, grazing the chin, curving softly at the jawline, has a quiet kind of superpower. It frames your face perfectly, without swallowing it whole. And after 60, when cheekbones start playing hide-and-seek and jawlines aren't as sharp as they used to be, that framing, it's pure magic. I finally gave in after a particularly humid week, where my hair inflated, wilted, then just flatlined. I marched into the salon and said, please, just make it make sense again. The stylist suggested a blunt bob with soft edges. I braced myself for regret. Instead, my face looked sharper, my neck looked longer. Styling time? 5 minutes 10 if I was feeling dramatic. The beauty of bobs is that they're customizable, angled, textured, tucked behind one ear if you're feeling mysterious. They flatter silver hair, fine hair, wavy hair, and when they're cut right, they basically do the styling for you. Coming up next, a pixie cut that's not a buzz cut, and definitely won't make you look like your brother's high school yearbook photo from 1972. Style 3. The soft pixie that feels effortless, not edgy. Now before you panic, I said soft pixie, not punk rebellion circa 1983. For the longest time I thought pixies were only for two kinds of women, high fashion editors with cheekbones so sharp they could open envelopes, and people who decided to retire from styling their hair altogether. Neither one sounded like me. Turns out, there's a third kind of pixie, and it's a whole lot more forgiving. The soft pixie is a little longer on top, gently layered, and designed to look tousled, not tamed. It hugs your head without giving you that dreaded triangle effect, and it adds just enough lift at the crown to whisper, yes, I slept funny, but you'd never know. Surprise bonus. This cut is phenomenal for thinning hair. It makes fine strands look intentional, not accidental. Plus it brings all the attention up, to your eyes, your smile, your earrings you'll suddenly remember to wear again. Another perk? No awkward grow-out phase. It always looks deliberate, even when it's a little overgrown. If you're not quite ready to chop it all off, ask your stylist for a softer version, longer sides, gentle taper in the back, a little movement up top, no clippers necessary. And if you're worried about looking too done, the next style proves you can look elegant and effortless at the same time. Style 4. Side-swept bangs that rescue your mornings. Confession time. There was a stretch where I woke up early, just to fix the front section of my hair. Not the whole head, just the front, because those flat, crumpled bangs made it look like I'd lost a dance battle sometime in the 80s. Then I discovered the power of side-swept bangs. And I'm not talking about those heavy helmet-like bangs that demand a flat iron and a silent prayer. I mean the soft, wispy kind that drift naturally across your forehead, like they're trying but not trying too hard. They pull triple duty. They soften lines, they shape your face. And most importantly, they gently distract from anything you're not in the mood to highlight. Got a little extra forehead curve you didn't order? Woke up with a pillow dent that won't quit? Side-swept bangs are like a stylish curtain that knows exactly when to close. Plus they give short haircuts a real lift, visually and literally. You get movement around the face without committing to layers that start tickling your lips every time a breeze hits. Maintenance? Easy, a quick trim now and then, a light round brush swipe in the morning, and you're golden. And if the rest of your hair decides to rebel that day, no one will notice. They'll be too busy admiring your effortless frame job. Coming up next, the secret shortcut that actually makes your neck look longer, even if you're hunched over your latest novel. Style 5. The tapered nape that works overtime. Here's something nobody warns you about. The back of your haircut says a lot behind your back. I learned this the hard way, standing in line at the pharmacy, catching a glimpse of myself in one of those cruel security mirrors. And there it was, a poofy, shapeless blob at the back of my head that looked like it had either given up or staged a quiet rebellion. Enter the tapered nape. It's not dramatic. In fact, you might not notice it at first glance, but wow, it completely changes your silhouette. A neatly tapered nape defines the neck, sharpens the jawline, and lifts the entire profile. It's like a personal tailor for your head. That blouse that only works when your hair's up, suddenly it works every day. That annoying collar bump from your jacket, gone. That weird hair puff you spot in car mirrors, history. And bonus, less sweaty neck moments. No hair bunching under scarves. No surprise back poof in photos. If you're not ready for a full close crop, ease into it. Ask for a gentle taper, just enough to streamline the bottom and make everything else look sharper. Up next, the brilliant little cut that adds instant volume without shouting about it. Style 6. The hidden layer cut that creates secret volume. There's a myth that floats around salons. You just need the right layers to get that full look again. I used to roll my eyes at that, mainly because I had layers, loads of them, and they just sat there, deflated, like they were waiting for someone else to do the heavy lifting. Then one miracle stylist squinted at my hair like it was a Rubik's Cube and said, "You don't need more layers, you need hidden ones." Game changer. Hidden layers aren't carved into the top of your hair where everyone can see them. They're tucked underneath, subtle structural layers that support the outer shape. On the surface, your hair looks smooth and polished. Underneath, there's a whole scaffolding keeping everything buoyant. Suddenly, my crown head bounced again. My hair moved when I moved, without looking like I was gearing up for liftoff. This trick is a total gift for fine or thinning hair. And it works wonders with bobs, pixies, cropped shags, anything short and chic. Best part? It fakes the look of naturally fuller hair. No root lifters, no 20-minute blow-dry acrobatics. Coming up next, the cut that finally makes wearing glasses look intentional, not accidental. Style 7. The ear-length crop that plays nice with glasses. Ever put on your glasses and realize your hairstyle just vanishes? Or worse, your frames, your hair and your ears start battling it out for attention? Been there. And let me tell you, There's nothing glamorous about constantly tucking hair behind your ears while your glasses slide off your nose like they're racing gravity. Here's where the ear-length crop comes to the rescue. It's short, but not military short. Just long enough to graze the earlobe in a soft sculpted line that frames your face rather than crowding it. And here's the real magic. It partners with your glasses. They look like they belong together, like a stylish power couple, not an awkward blind date. Once I switched, I stopped fidgeting. No weird bends behind the ears. No rogue flyaways photobombing my selfies. No hair constantly stuck under the arms of my specs. Plus, when you keep the sides neat and slightly angled, it draws focus up to your eyes, where it belongs, not down to your lenses. And don't worry, it works with everything: silver frames, bold colors, even those fancy progressives you finally caved and bought. Coming up, the cut that somehow makes you look 5 years fresher, no extra sleep required. Style 8, the subtle shag that fakes energy. You know that moment when someone says, "Wow, you look so refreshed," and you think, "Funny? Because I feel like leftover lasagna." Turns out, some haircuts can do a little smoke and mirrors work for you. Enter the subtle shag. Now don't panic. This isn't the wild, jagged, eyeliner and leather jacket shag from the 70s. This is the modern, softer version. Light layering at the crown, gentle movement around the sides, a hint of texture that says, "I'm lively," even if you barely survived the morning. I stumbled onto this cut after a brutal sleep drought and an even worse hair week. My stylist took one look at me and said, "You need an energy boost and a little haircut magic." A few strategic snips later, I looked like someone who chose salad over fries. Someone who might, just might, own yoga pants for their intended purpose. The beauty of the subtle shag? It plays with light and shadow to create natural lift around the temples and cheekbones. No contour brush required. Perfect if your hair's gone fine, flat, or just a little too moody. Coming up next, the in-between cut that gives you freedom without forcing you into a style box. Style 9. The collarbone crop that balances it all. Sometimes you want the ease of short hair. Other days you miss the option to twist, clip, or flip it up. Enter the collarbone crop. Not too short, not too long. The Goldilocks of haircuts. It's long enough to pull into a mini ponytail when needed, short enough to stay off your neck and out of your lip gloss. Ask me how I know. The magic of this cut is all in the length. It grazes just under the jaw but doesn't pull your face down the way longer hair can. I first tried it as a compromise, not quite ready to go short, but desperate for a change. What I got instead was a total revelation. My face looked more open, my hair bounced naturally again, and mornings became significantly less negotiable. Pair it with a little subtle face framing, or soft bangs, and it flatters practically every face shape, especially if you're in that maybe just a little trim, or maybe something dramatic phase. Coming up next, we're closing strong with the one shortcut stylists secretly recommend when you just say, do whatever you think looks best. Style 10. The textured crop that stylists trust most. You know that moment when you plop down in the salon chair, sigh, and say, "I don't even know anymore. Just fix it?" That was me 6 months ago. My half-grown-out bob was pretending to be a hairstyle and losing the fight. My stylist grinned and said, "Let's go for a textured crop." I braced for disaster. Instead, I walked out looking and feeling 10 times sharper. The textured crop is short, yes, but not severe. It's softly layered, slightly tousled, with enough movement to keep it modern, but not trendy. It lifts your crown, sharpens your jawline, and opens your whole face in that magical way where people say, "You look great," but can't quite figure out what changed. Stylists love it because it flatters most face shapes, grows out gracefully, and makes even thin, fussy hair look stylish. Even if you didn't lift a finger, it also plays beautifully with silver strands. The texture catches the light and lets those hard-earned natural highlights shine. So if you're teetering on the edge of maybe something shorter, this is your safe landing. No drama, just smart, subtle lift everywhere it counts. Time to let go and lighten up. Maybe that idea that long hair equals sign youthful was a myth we carried a little too far. Maybe the right shortcut can lift your face and spirit better than any contour palette ever could. And maybe, just maybe, letting go of a few extra inches of hair makes room for a whole lot more confidence. We're not chasing trends here, we're choosing what works for your features, your lifestyle, your today, and you don't owe anyone an explanation. Not your stylist, not your sister, not even that old friend still clinging to her blowout from 2001. Here's the beautiful truth. You get to change your look without apologizing. You get to feel lighter, inside and out, and you get to look in the mirror and finally say, "Yep, that's more like it." Now I want to hear from you. Which cut are you secretly curious about? Which one have you tried and maybe regretted? And if there's a style that made you feel like yourself again, share that magic. Someone scrolling through these comments needs it today. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around. At Elder Insights, we're not trying to fix aging, we're here to make it feel a whole lot better. See you in the next video, preferably with fewer flyaways and a whole lot more freedom.